Mon Dieu, le français. The French are in some bad stuff, aren't they? All right, sorry about that. I was trying to say some French, but it's been a while since I spoke French. Anyway, let me go over this. I'm going to look on a. Sorry for the echo and everything else, but I didn't feel like putting in the mic. But I felt like I had to say something. So today in France, this is a Twitter post that I was looking at here. Attack in Nice in a church, 2 beheaded women, 1 man with his throat cut. A failed attack in Avignon, attack against the French embassy in Saudi Arabia, 1 man injured. Attack against the French embassy in, I cannot tell what the hell that flag is. I think it's somewhere in the Pacific. I can't think. I'm going to say Brunei. A failed attack in Lyon, probably failed attack in Toulon, and a failed attack in Sartreville. They named a town after Jean-Paul Sartre. Yvelines near Paris. So that's a lot of stuff. What's going on, Temujin? So let's talk about this. I try not to talk too internationally. Same thing with the Nagorno-Karabakh deal. I don't really like talking about that. Ultimately, the Armenians are getting BTFO'd by the Azeris right now. And that's pretty much all I have to say. They're getting blown the fuck out. There's no other way to put it. People can go ahead and praise the Armenians, but they're led by shills, unfortunately. They are led by a lot of shills that are like, well, the West is going to protect us. And ultimately, at least from what I've heard, Armenians talked a lot of shit about Russians, but yet the Russians are helping right now. So, yeah. Anyway, but on to this stuff about France. So this all started, as we know, with, or at least this recent upset occurred because a French teacher decided to show a caricature of Muhammad in a cartoon, and it was in a free speech class. And apparently, a Chechen-born migrant decided to cut the guy's head off, which he did, and the police shot him dead. What happened from there? Well, that Chechen migrant was shot by the cops, as was said, and so much so that, this became a big thing because then you had Emmanuel Macron, the current president. What's going on, Mongoose Man? The current president of France decided to, say some things about Islam, and we can't allow this. In response, we had President Erdogan of Turkey, who, at least according to all the media and everything else, is trying to make himself more of the ambassador to Islam, if you will. So he is trying to be an ambassador to Islam, and basically now you've had several attacks that have occurred in France and at French embassies. So like I say, just in case y'all missed it, there's an attack in Nice in a church, 2 beheaded women, 1 man with his throat cut, a failed attack in Avignon, an attack against the French embassy in Saudi Arabia, 1 man injured, an attack against the French embassy. I'm going to say that's Brunei, but I don't know if that's true. Failed attack in Lyon, probably failed attack in Toulon, and a failed attack at Sartreville, Yvelines near Paris. So 7 attacks occurred over this time. Basically, this is because of 1 Muslim being killed, and then the whole world, or let's not say the whole world, but let's say the Islamic world was upset by it. So there are 2 things that you can say. I'm not anti-Islam, but them using progressive rhetoric is laughable. Yeah. The thing, yeah, hey, well, I think I've seen you on Argent streams, yeah. Well, so, I mean, the thing is that you can see this as twofold. twofold in the sense that, Catholicism does not, at least now anyway, does not have that sort of power where they can upset Muslims throughout France. Yeah, liberal Muslims still are still more annoying than a devout Muslim. Yeah. The thing is that, devout Muslims, basically saw what Erdogan was saying, basically saying, we are not going to allow this. They saw that as a fatwa, as far as I know. And correct me where I'm wrong if you know more about Islam, this and that. Please don't behead me if you do hear this and you are. But I would say that they saw that as a fatwa against the French. And so as the French have reignited this Muslim fire, that really exists. There's the same type of thing with that British writer guy. I'm trying to think of his name now, but yeah, the guy who wrote a book about Islam and really pissed people off. What the hell was his name? The guy from the 80s. Salman Rushdie, that's his name. Yeah, came to me. It's like it's a name that you don't hear that often. But yeah, Salman Rushdie. Yeah, British Indian. Yeah. So he wrote this book on Islam, really pissed a lot of people off. This is like in the Midnight's Children. Yeah. The Satanic Verses, was the subject of a major controversy, provoking protests from Muslims in several countries. Death threats were made against him, including a fatwa called for his assassination by the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the supreme leader of Iran, on 14 February 1989. The thing is that, like I say, you don't see this. The reason why the Catholic Church doesn't criticize Islam because the last Pope, Benedict, did a Catholic Church in Iraq got bombed, is partly that Europeans are too weak, but not holy. Yeah, I would say so, like I say, but Islam, it appears it has folks that are willing to throw down for anyone that talks shit about Islam. And honestly, to a point, y'all are going to probably cringe at this, but to a point, that's a positive. They still have folks that are loyal. They still have folks that are loyal to their belief. Now, of course, you can say for whatever reason, but that, well, this is actually the true path of Islam. I'm not going to get into that. What I will say, though, is that regardless of what you want to say, is that there is that strain that, that Muslims are going to say, yeah, inshallah, we're going to do what we got to do. Whereas in Christianity, it really isn't seen that way, not in the same way as it was. I know, you can say what you will about the Catholic Church, but that goes for Baptists or anything else as well. It's a different type of thing. When people make fun of, baptism, or they make fun of Catholicism, when you hear these folks that, constantly want to talk about the church, what do Catholics do? All they can do is cope online, right? You don't see Catholics, going after people that say, oh, the Catholic Church is full of pedophiles. You don't see devout Catholics going after people and cutting their heads off or, doing whatever, right? You don't see that. You don't see that, like I said. But that's my take anyway. That's my take. You don't see that. And that's something that, Christians do have to think about. Islam, like I say, whether, people want to talk about, oh, well, this is part of the whole false dichotomy that exists where, something will happen in the West, someone's head will get cut off. And of course, the West tries to act big and tough. And then it's like, well, then innocent people get killed. What is our response going to be? Nothing. You think that the French, I'm speaking in vague terms. I'm not trying to go all right, but what I'm saying is just, it's technically pederasty, which is horrible. It is. But I would say that I'm not a Catholic, but I would say is that the Catholic Church is doing what it can to fight that, I would say. But I know you're probably going to be like, no, they're not. And that's fine if you want to say that. But, sorry. It's just a whole lot of bullshit going on with that, But yeah, man, like I say, you see what we've seen what's happened with that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would just say, yeah, in the Catholic Church scandal, yeah, it is. Like I say, I'm not going to sit here and do that. Um, I speak about Catholicism because obviously Catholicism is seen as the main church for Catholic, for Christianity. Now, of course, I know, I'm not going to have the Protestant versus Catholic argument. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. I refuse to do it because I'm not that well versed. But yeah, from my Catholic perspective of history, I see Islam as a scourge against Europe. Yeah. Well, the thing is that you'll get plenty of folks who will try to praise Islam, but they'll be like, we don't like certain aspects. It's like there's a lot of more left wing folks. Yeah, a lot of the East are used to war and American aggression, but the West are mainly comfortable and want to avoid conflict. That's true. That's true. That's a perspective that needs to be gotten rid of. That does. We need to have this sort of idea where we're not afraid to go out there and do what has to be done. I'm not going to sit here and Fed post. I'm not going to advocate anyone do anything, of course. Let me make sure about that. I'm not going to try to be one of those. But yeah, in general, the West, I speak in general terms, whether that's the United States or whether that's, Europe or whatever, they don't have the cojones to really do anything about it. And I think, hopefully, yeah. Yeah, Rod Dog, you're very right, though. Very correct. People in the West, they just want to do their job and go home, or maybe they'll go out and shoot their gun or something like that. But it's all talk. It's all talk. I think that's something that we need to be. Yeah. So who do you think is going to win the election, Tom? You know what? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm just going to say that I have no idea. I'm not that ideologically concerned. I think overall it's going to be the same shit. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. It looks like, there are plenty of folks who are just like, even I saw Serp who just kind of really took the black pill and said that, Biden's going to win. I'm not going to get into that. To me, honestly, does it matter? I don't think it will. Like I say, in general, internationally, in terms of the Iran deal, Biden isn't going to do anything. In terms of Korea, he's not going to make it any better. Syria, as far as I know, we're still going to be involved with that shit. But yeah, that's my take on it. But yeah, eventually shit is just going to keep on getting worse. We see Philly. Philly is still acting up. Philly is still getting wild. Let me see what else is going on in Philadelphia. I saw yesterday that people were posting about there were some people of Hebrew descent, we'll put it that way, who were going around and they decided to this is kind of fucked up though. A Vietnam Baptist church in Philadelphia was burned down during the BLM rioting. The thing is that unlike Spain, I'll put it this way, I'm going to do like a Spanish Civil War type of comparison, which is probably inappropriate, but I'll say it nonetheless, is that when the next Civil War happens in the United States, because like I say, I do believe that is that Civil War will come in some form. But when the Civil War does come, it's not going to be based on one faith. Is that, yeah, people can dab on Catholics all they want to. But the thing is, we see a Vietnam Baptist church in Philadelphia was burned out. It was burned down. But yeah, there's no recovering that. I'm looking at the video right now. It's from Andy No. So, I know. Take it with a grain of salt. I know. Andy No is a shill. La, la, la. I know. But nonetheless, you don't hear, and of course, I know what people like Vosh are going to say. Well, it's infinitesimal, the amount of damage that BLM have done and all these protesters have done. It's infinitesimal. It's only 7%. I was watching, the bit of his debate conversation that he had with Tim Pool. And it's like, look, Tim Pool made a lot of mistakes. He had idiotic people around him. he had this retard dude with the big frizzy hair. I was like, this dude needs to shut his mouth. Yeah. You know, it's like, I mean, talking about that, I'll finish up with this. I'll try and make this short because, people have things to do. But I will say, I saw the conversation that Tim Pool and Vosh had. And I was like, oh, this is the biggest load of shit. Because, like, I don't think either one of them necessarily won. I think it was just, okay, pretty standard Vosh shit. I think that Tim Pool, I don't watch Tim Pool that much, apart from what people may think, but I don't really watch him like that. He kept repeating the same points, like, well, you said, what about the people in the nursing homes, this and that, and he had that retarded frizzy dude, with the I say frizzy dude, but the dude with the curly hair next to him. I don't know if y'all were watching that, but it was just fucking ridiculous, man. It was retarded as shit. It was just some gay shit. But yeah, man, like I say, we see Philly, of course, continuing to erupt. And of course, you don't see a lot of these left-wing folks talk about it, but, looting, of course, we see that, kiosks being taken out, people are stealing stuff left and right, and of course, it's all bullshit because, of course, the thing is, if the left, I know the left will always cope and be like, oh, well, if COINTELPRO hadn't ruined the left, then we'd be more organized and there wouldn't be that many more. It's like, keep coping. The reality, though, is that people are, they're looting. And you can say what you will about that, but yeah, for a so-called Marxist organization, BLM has worked for the upper class and dividing the working class. That's true. Like I say, they have gotten money from so many people. And you hear these folks like, once again, I hate to give him so much credit, but it's like, you hear people like Vosh who continue to defend BLM. It's like, well, yeah, they get money. They get, they got money from Ben and Jerry's or they got money from Amazon, but that's okay. I mean, who cares? Just because, we see this idea on the online left, at least, where it's like, just because you're rich doesn't mean you can't be part of the, in the struggle for progressivism. I'm like, what? It's like, and the only thing that they can really use to fall back on is Friedrich Engels. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, the protests have been continuing on, no more lives, but yeah, it's just the stuff that's been going on in Philly. Yeah, just the same shit that's been going on in Philly. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, more stuff has come in about Philly. Let's see here. Adele and SEPTA, the Regional Transportation Authority of the Greater Philadelphia area, are reportedly. Oh, okay. Who kidding? Okay, sorry, that was just some bullshit. Okay, there is just a pile-on of horrors and tragedies in our city right now. Impossible to understand the necessity of this. Easy, by contrast, to see deeply repressive tactics and a complete lack of accountability. And this is, of course, video surfaces showing Philadelphia police bashing SUV windows. Yep, we're just visitors here, America. The folks back home ask what we've seen, what we've been, but we haven't seen much of you this year because of COVID-19. Maybe you could share some photos. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Philly. But yeah, like I say, Philly is getting wild, man. And of course, people can talk about, the 76ers, they can talk about whatever, but it's like, no one really gives a shit. It's like we see that, it's like Philly is wilding. Nobody's surprised by that. Nobody's wilding about it. More of this 1312, ACAB, FTP, fuck the police, and all this stuff. It's like, but where's it going to go? What is, the thing is, if the left can cope all they want to, but it's like, if they were better organized, then they would try to set some things up and not just have, a Chaz situation or something like that, but of course that, it just goes to show how broken the left is in general and how ridiculous it is. Like I say, I mean, the lumpen proletariat are going to be the main ones involved in the revolution. Everybody else is going to be hiding, behind, is hiding in neighborhoods where they're protected by rented cops and rented by, military police and all this shit. That's going to be the future of the United States. It's going to be, we're going to stay in these, the suburbs are going to be militarized, even more so. And they're going to say, nope, you can't go in here. They're going to have barbed wire fences. They're going to have, build the wall. There's no even possibilities for that. There are going to be individual walls all across the country for neighborhoods where people can only go to work and then come home, or maybe they'll just work from home. If they're an accountant, they can just do their work there and just, hope for the best. That's going to be the future. Yeah. American left are all idealists. Yeah. Yeah. Someone was telling Afro-syndicalists that the protests needed to stop, and he said no. But then the person tried telling him that it's a potential psyop. It really is. Yeah. Anarchists think organization, vanguardism, and fascism. They do. Like I say, you can't just, it's like, look, if I was a younger guy, I can see the point of just going in and tearing shit up. I do see it. But it's like, now that I'm a bit older, I realize it's like, bro, you have to live in these neighborhoods. And all these folks, it's just like, yeah, someone killed somebody. We're upset. We ready and all that. But it's like, yeah, I heard Mexico is about to go Balkan gang. It may. Yeah, I don't know about Mexico. Let's see. Let me take a look at Mexico. Let's take a look at Mexico. What's going on with Mexico? 59 bodies found in clandestine graves in Mexico. Holy moly. Mexico's government control threatened by criminal groups claiming more territory. Yep. Holy shit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It looks like it. I take it with a grain of salt because this is the Washington Post, but still, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Juan Aldama, Mexico. This time the assassins came early. It was 8:30 a.m. when they surrounded the police station in this rural town. Pop, pop, pop of bullets echoed for blocks. By the time security forces arrived, Ricardo Barón Guzman lay dead, the second police chief gunned down here in 14 months. This sleepy town of 13,000 set amid the bean and cornfields of Zacatecas state of the Zacatecas state. It used to be known for the heroes it offered to the Mexican Revolution against the migrants it sent to the United States. The police chief's killing in September reflected its new notoriety. Juan Aldama has become another front. See, the thing is, here's something too when I'm thinking about, because I was thinking about this Vice News thing. Actually, let me check my phone. Just give me a minute. Okay. All right. But with this Vice News business, and they were talking to the Mormons down there. It's like, well, why don't you just legalize marijuana? Because people are hurting down here. And of course, he says that while he lives in abject luxury. These Mormons live in abject. They just live in luxurious. These nice buildings and everything else. They got a nice little golf course and everything. It's like, no wonder, ordinary Mexicans look at these guys and like, look at these motherfuckers. So because they legalized, polygamy way back 100, when they had legalized polygamy in Mexico, that's why you have all these Mormons. But it's like, the reality is this, is that if you had legalization, full-on cannabis legalization, or, cocaine legalization, or whichever drug you want to say is legalized in the United States, is that Walmart will simply work with the cartels. That's the reality. The cartels aren't going to go away because of it. The cartels will simply be, je ne sais pas français, Yeah, there's a northern secession movement in Mexico, but it's kind of a meme, Local governments threaten to leave, It's crazy, The person warned Afro that the rights are like a trap that can be later used against them, like how the Black Panthers got betrayed, Like I say, man, it's crazy to think about, bro, because you're just like, dude, this is what's happening. This is what is happening. And you're like, bro, it's crazy. I always say that. It's like, I can't think of anything else, but it's like, reality is that the game doesn't change, it's just the players. So, these cartels will simply slightly, round out their edges a little bit and make themselves a little bit more corporate. And they'll be working for Walmart. so that they could sell drugs, you know? And so they'll just be buying their drugs straight from, you know, Mexico and, you know, these different cartels, whether it's the, you know, Sinaloa cartel, whatever the case may be. And they'll do that. You know, people that think that, oh, well, if we do that, then, you know, then the market for drugs will change. It's like, no. It's like, what? It's like I was doing the quiz today. It's like you can get innovation through, you know, buying other businesses and gobbling up other businesses, or you can do innovation internally. It's like, why would you want to do that? Walmart, all they have to do is just go down to the Sinaloa cartel and say, hey, how's it going, guys? So I tell you what, would you like to join our organization? Because recently, of course, according to the law, you know, thanks to Joe Biden, he legalized marijuana. Can I buy weed from you? And then potentially, can we, you know, that's the reality. Yeah, leftists that support drugs and prostitution are just being contrarian for the sake of it. Yeah. Yeah, Walmart will buy a ton and sell it by the ounce. Yep. Good point about the cartels. Because even when Cuba had a revolution, most of the mafia and other crooks came to the U.S. or other countries. Yeah. Like a bottle of Windex costs Walmart 5 cents, they sell it for 4. That's true. That's how business works. That's how capitalism works. You know, that's how they make their margins and everything else. But yeah, it's a fucked up thing, bro. But that's going to be the reality, you know, and everybody's going to be paying the price. You know, there's no real answer to it unless, you know, the only answer is just get an army and obliterate people. That's the only real answer. And that's what's going to happen in the U.S. because liberalism, and I say this loosely, I know liberalism, everyone can have their own definition, but cannot handle these problems. They can't. They cannot handle the crisis in, you know, the climate change crisis. They can't handle the inequalities. They cannot handle. It's like, I mean, you have these morons like Vosh who are just like, oh, well, if we just have bigger cities and everything else, you know, everyone can just live in the city. Fuck that. I don't want to move to some big ass city. And it's like, you know, he makes it seem like, oh, well, the thing is, these leftists will defend being an urbanite bug man. I hate to use that phrase because it's overused, but it's like being some urbanite bug man or someone that lives in, you know, a suburb of a big city. It's just like, bro, yeah, rampant liberalism and progressivism is dangerous to society. Pornography, prostitution, and drugs, bad for culture. Yep. Criminal elite on top working with the criminals at the bottom to screw over the majority average people. Yep. Liberalism is the worst take on every bad thing in the universe. Yeah, that's my definition. Yeah. Cities are mentally and spiritually harmful. They really are. They really are. I mean, when I hear people like Vosh who just, you know, want to be these urbanites, you can taste the disdain that they have when they talk about Wyoming or Montana. And they're like, well, there's only 5,000 people that live in Montana or something like that. So who cares about them? I mean, they want to just say they're just dumb rednecks. That's what they want to say. They want to say that they're dumb rednecks and that they don't deserve the right to vote. They want to say it, but they don't, you know, but they try to hide it. You know, that's my, yeah, that might be one of the most, yeah, disgusting Vosh quote. Yeah. I've never lived in the suburbs, but the time I've spent there wasn't enjoyable. Yeah. Like I say, I've lived kind of in a mid-tier city, you know, of about 100,000 or so. And it's just, yeah, it's different compared to like a New York City or a Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, one of those many unrecognizable differences between the suburbs that exist. You know, it's like between Louisville or Flower Mound. It's like, yeah, you can tell some aspects, but it's like in general, it's all part of Dallas. I'm sorry. So when people want to talk to me about, you know, Grapevine or something like that, no, you're talking about Fort Worth. That's all it is. It's all just one big crap hole. It is. That's why I would never want to go to Dallas Fort Worth. That's one of my biggest fears. I don't want anything to do with places like that. But unfortunately, that's where the jobs are. Yeah. Swedish suburbs, like your inner cities. Oh, okay. I never lived in the suburbs. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. DFW is huge. It is. It is huge. You know, it's just these big ring roads and you get caught in all this bullshit. It's just, yeah, it's ridiculous. I really do fear it, but I feel like I'm going to have to spend at least some time in Dallas Fort Worth working in that bullshit. I'm gonna hate it. I will. I'll try to make the best of it, but yeah, in general, I won't like it. I'll just put it that way. At this point, it's just yeah. What else is there to say, man? It's just ridiculous. Like I say, just being caught in this mess. Probably doesn't help that we've had this cold weather and everything else for the past couple of days. And I'm just like, bro, because we're used to the sunlight down here. Down in the south, we're used to that. We're used to that sun coming out and it being 100 degrees. We're used to that type of shit. We're not used to this whole type of you know what's going on with this. Yeah, it's just crazy. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't even know, man. But like I said, I wanted to get at least the politics shit out of the way. Yeah. He was either a million plus city or less than 50,000. Yeah, the country is great, but things being far apart gets old. Yeah. Yeah, I should probably find that Vosh. Well, you know what? Screw that. I'm not going to find it. But he was talking about, being more of an urbanite and what should be done about society, this and that. But it's like, it's just all pitiful stuff because it's like, it's just a defense of people living in cities. It's like, and he kept on using the argument that a lot of conservatives say. It's like, well, immigration is good because we get better food. And it's like, I don't, it's like people just go to, and of course his argument is like, oh, well, people will just go to Olive Garden. Well, I know what I would like at Olive Garden, and I know that's more of a defensive suburbanism, but it's like, why would you want to go to, some restaurant that you don't know who the fuck works there? You don't know what they put in the back and everything else. It's like, I don't even know, bro. I know this, this being extra racist, but it's like, bro, you think that they'll just become Americanized, isn't that? It's like, that's why it's like Vosh does not talk about socialism. He doesn't talk about socialism because, of course, he has his very rigid definition of it, where it's just like, oh, well, unless the workers own the means of production and you get rid of the commodity form, then you're not socialist. It's like, how can you be a socialist country today in your definition, particularly getting rid of the commodity form? How can you do that in the modern day when you're surrounded by countries that have the commodity form? I was thinking about this, and I know it's a bad argument, but I'll say it nonetheless. It's like everyone else is doing metric, and I know this is hypocrisy for the United States. It's like everyone does metric, and yet the United States has stuck to the standard measurement system. We've stuck to inches and feet and everything else, whereas the rest of the world is in meters and liters and milliliters and all that business. Right? It's crazy. It's like you can't. It's like unless you have the power and unless you're swinging a big dick, you're not going to change that type of thing. Yeah. Vosh is just a successful, libertarian Leninist, blender ideology. It really is, yeah. Yeah, I talked a little bit about Vosh and Tim Pool. I thought it was cringe. Yeah, Vosh will get shot climbing over the Berlin Wall. Yeah, he really would. He really would. It's funny that this is a controversial take. Marx had 7 kids with one woman. He was socially conservative while being economically progressive, but my liberties. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, yeah, that was awful, though. I will say that again, though. The Vosh and Tim Pool conversation was just bullshit. It was. It's like, I mean, he's got he's got that chick. Tim Pool's got that chick. I mean, she's somewhat intelligent, but he's got this idiotic guy with the frizzy hair. I was like, that's an idiot. That guy's an idiot. Yeah. Mouthy infidel is almost more annoying than Vosh. And every conversation, his studies say, the data says, source my research. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hating Americans means losing the meaningful parts of your culture and placing it with product. It really is. Yeah, it really is at this point. This is why people are depressed, man. You're just sitting there working for these jobs, just getting caught up in it. Yeah. What's up with that title? I was trying to be clever. Union Army ball. That's all. But yeah. It's just ridiculous, man. It's just such bullshit to think about. You're just like, dude, what are we even doing? I'm just sitting here in this classroom right now knowing it's like I'm probably going to have to travel at least 4 hours back and forth for this job that this person's going to call me up at 3 o'clock about. I'm just like, dude, it's going to be such bullshit if I actually get that job, because it's just like, you know, you're just fed up, man, but fuck it. I might as well keep going at this point. That's my attitude. It's just like, fuck it. Might as well keep going. The hell else am I going to do at this point? But yeah, that's all I can really say. Is there anything else y'all want me to talk about? Anything else that I missed? Like I said, I was just talking about the French earlier. Yeah, I'm getting more and more worried about Swedish culture. Kids are speaking English schools, for fuck's sakes. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to think about, man. It is. Seeing all the crazy shit that's happened has occurred in the past few months. I don't know what to think, honestly. I really don't. I'm just speaking more of that. There's a lot of anger, a lot of just feeling of who's gonna take us over. I mean, today it looks like it's gonna be China. Obviously China's gonna take over vast amounts of the world. But Discord server for like. It's wild to think about. Sorry for the dead air, folks. Apparently, too, I should talk about this, but apparently, Jeremy Corbyn was suspended by the UK Labour Party. Good old Jeremy Corbyn. Should we talk about that? Yeah. I hope China wins, though. Yeah. I have had to root for China. Yeah. Are you going to vote? I did. I early voted. Yeah. I'll just keep it to myself. But yeah, I did early vote. But yeah, let's talk about this. Why not? Let's find a dumbass article here. AJ Plus. No, I don't care about Al Jazeera Plus. Let me see. I'll go ahead and type it in here. Let's see what they got here. Jeremy Corbyn. I think it is funny because, yeah, a lot of lefties were like, cancel culture is bullshit. It doesn't really exist. And then it's like, now we have Jeremy Corbyn, being kicked to the curb. New York Post, no, that's bullshit. The Hill, it's halfway decent. It's halfway decent. All right, it's probably bullshit, though, yeah. UK Labour Party suspended its former leader, Jeremy Corbyn, after an anti-Semitism report determined the party mishandled complaints of anti-Jewish prejudice under his leadership. His suspension came after Corbyn said he did not accept all of the findings of a report from the Equality and Human Rights Commission that the party violated the Equality Act through its handling of anti-Semitic complaints. The EHRC said in the report there were serious failings in leadership, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Jewish members of our party and the wider community were right to expect us to deal with it. And I regret that it took longer to deliver that change than it should. One anti-Semite is too many. But the scale of the problem was also dramatically overstated for political reasons by our opponents inside and outside the party, as well as by much of the media. While I do not accept all of its findings, I trust its recommendations will be swiftly implemented to help move on from this period, he concluded. In light of his comments, and this is the Labour Party spokesperson, in light of his comments made today and his failure to retract them subsequently, the Labour Party has suspended Jeremy Corbyn pending investigation. I've made absolutely clear that those who deny there has been an anti-Semitism problem in the Labour Party are wrong. It's also undeniable that the false impression has been created of the number of members accused of anti-Semitism as polling shows. That is what has been overstated, not the seriousness of the problem, he added. Party's current leader, Keir Starmer, said in a statement that it was a day of shame for the party and apologized for the pain and grief that Jewish people experienced, according to Bloomberg. He said he will implement all of the recommendations from the EHRC report. And once again, we don't care about Keir Starmer. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, yeah. Yep. But there you go with But there you go with the good old stuff with Jeremy Corbyn. It's it's ridiculous, isn't it? It is ridiculous to say the least. What has occurred with we're going to see how crazy things are, and how wild it's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see where the bonds are going to be, where the allyship is going to be when the United States does break apart. That's really the only question of where the stuff is going to be and how and what infrastructure is going to be there. Who is going to keep their infrastructure intact and where. It's like California. I don't know. It's right there by China. I think China, of course, will step into California and will definitely try to keep intact at least the port of Los Angeles. I can't speak for the rest of Los Angeles, but I think, yeah, it's crazy to think about. Yeah, these are people who watch Vosh. Yeah. Battle with Milan. Oh, okay. I'll try to check it out. Yeah. Do they have any examples of anti-Semitism in the article or not? I don't think they do. I'll go ahead and plop it in. I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat. There you go. I don't know if it'll come up. You can go ahead and read it for yourself, but I don't see anything personally. I was just reading it verbatim. But yeah, it doesn't sound like I say, it was overly done. The whole business about the anti-Semitism and all that business, it's just absolutely pointless, The first comment. I'll read the first comment to you because it's so oof. Anti-Semitism has no place among left-wing parties. Good for the Labor Party, especially since Democrats got most of their money from Jews. Republicans get a third of it from them. Yeah. In your next life, you should become a urinal. Yeah. Oh boy. You gotta love these. Yep. Yet that's where it always resides. Yeah. Yeah, it is true is that, yeah, David Duke did support Jeremy Corbyn back in the 80s. I think so it is funny when, yeah, that happens. But of course, yeah. Yeah, these comments are trash. I don't like reading cringe like that, but yeah, it's absolute crap. Yeah. Why does Jeremy Corbyn hate Brazilians? You got me. You got me. I don't know. It's crazy to think about. I'm kind of feeling sleepy. I got other work to do, and I should probably wait for my mom's phone call because she's getting her car worked on. Oh, well, not much else going on here. At least I got what I needed turned in today. They're turned in. I think that's about it, though. Like I say, we will still be doing. Why does Corbyn want the Polish to die? I don't know. Oh, good old Poland. Good old Poland, right? Now it's both David Duke and Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy to think about. It's just crazy to think about. It's like Jeremy Corbyn, what would he have done anyway? Jeremy Corbyn, it's like there's a lot of dichotomy and a lot of comparison between him and Bernie Sanders, but it's like, Bernie Sanders, unless you're completely retarded, you can't really call him anti-Semitic, because well, he's Jewish. So it's like, how can you or is he a self-hater, Crazy, yeah. Jeremy Corbyn's brother was on an interview with Sargon. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy to think Corbyn thinks the Brazilians control international banking, Hollywood, and U.S. foreign policy. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, I think I've said my piece, though. I think I've said all I need to say. Oh, I was just kind of sleepy. Oh man, I came out. Okay, yeah, bad. Yeah. Oh, not that much. Not that much. Not that much, Mr. Singh. We're just talking about France, pretty much getting a fatwa put on them. Philly blowing up. Jeremy Corbyn getting kicked out of the Labor Party and all this. I can't wait to see the takes on this and all that business. But yeah, it's wild to think about. Oh man, I'm just tired. I don't know. Not much else going on now. I think I pretty much said my piece on this, and yeah, interesting. So looking at Twitter right now, it's all just a bunch of Fed posty cringe stuff as usual. Just stuff doing wild, yeah. Just people doing wild stuff, yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, I could talk about, like I say. I mean, I will finish up talking about this, but it's like, yeah, we should issue Nosbo fatwas, yeah, Brazil, Kachian, yeah. But let's finish up with this, with the whole. What would happen if Joe Biden won? I mean, with Donald Trump winning, it's like it's just going to continue to get worse. It's like it's gonna get worse no matter who's going to be president. But I think that if Joe Biden becomes president, he will. Yeah. What do I think about the ContraPoint voting video? I don't care. I did see enough of it. Actually, I saw the whole thing, but in general, it's like, okay, well, we have to vote because basically we have to, revolution isn't going to happen right away, and we need to build. We need to, the left needs to be ready to fight. The left in the United States is a joke. If the left wasn't ready this summer, what makes you think they're going to be ready in 2 or 3 years when Joe Biden continues to screw things up? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if you're not ready now, then what makes you think you're going to be ready later on? I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, that's all I can really say. It's just gay, bro. It's just ridiculousness. Yeah, with Joe Biden, I think that very little is going to change, if anything. Yeah, bro, the left wasn't ready to support and maintain Chaz. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, left in America will die when Biden gets in office. Yeah, press F, definitely. Press F for the left in the United States that thinks that somehow that they're going to somehow the left is going to be able to push Biden back. It's like we're going to bully Biden. How are you going to bully him? Yeah, Donald Trump will destroy the USA. Yeah. Well, the thing is, so will Biden. Biden will destroy it as well. It's like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think both of them have the potential. It's just a matter of, yeah, Donald Trump will destroy the U.S., but I think so will Biden. It's just going to take a little bit longer. That's all. But it's like the inevitability is there, And it's like we're all just waiting for that time. I would just say to the folks that live in the United States, work out, maybe learn to use a firearm, learn about how business is done in China in particular, and learn to play the game, man. That's all I can tell you. Oh man, that's all I can tell you. Yeah, on it, biggin. You bet, Manny. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. It's all just kind of it's gonna implode, but it just matters. It just depends on how it's going to implode. You know what I mean? How is it going to implode? Yeah. Well, we kind of talked about learn to speak Mandarin. Yep, exactly. I kind of speak Mandarin already. Learn to speak Arabic? Maybe. Hebrew? Somewhat, but yeah. But I don't know. Is there anything else I want to say? Is there? I don't think there is. I always think that in my head, and I know it just kind of gets repetitive, doesn't it? Where it's like, oh my gosh, he's rambling again. Oh boy, I know. Uh, yeah, it's crazy to think about. Oh, with this voting shit, it's not gonna make a difference. It's like The riots, riots are going to happen. People are just waiting. The riots are going to happen no matter who's going to be voted in. It just depends on how bad it's going to be. That's my take on it. Let me see. Oh, let's see what Donald Trump put out a tweet. Let's see what he says. A 3-day extension for Pennsylvania is a disaster for our nation and for Pennsylvania itself. The Democrats are trying to steal this election. We have to get out and vote in even larger numbers. The great red wave is coming. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. The great red wave is coming. The great red wave is coming. That's Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. It's like a Communist Manifesto where he's like, a specter is falling over the nation, right? Isn't that what he said? A specter is heading for the nation? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Learn Chinese and welcome Xi Jinping as our new emperor. Yeah, probably. You may fire when ready. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Pick which warlord you're going to pay tribute to. Exactly. Yeah. Haunting Europe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Haunting the United States. But yeah. Like I say, there's gonna be so much cope from the leftists who are just like, all this racial inequality, and yet you don't see folks that are part of the PSL, presumably. You don't see the DSA out there, do you? You see the DSA out there in Philly right now? No, you don't see that. You see people are getting smacked up. You see, folks who are saying the synagogue of Satan, this and that, who are saying, oh my gosh, well, Farrakhan is awful. Well, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, egoists always hated communism. Marx made it clear it was spooky from the first lines of his book. That's true. Two sides to the same Zionist coin. It's true. It is true. Oh my goodness. That's all I gotta say. Is there anything else? Any other thing you want me to comment on? I'll give you some time. I know that there's a delay, so I'll give you some time. Get ready for a boiling hot take concerning. Okay, well, let's see this guy from this Catholic. Okay. Compared to the British Empire, which to a large part incorporated semi-homogeneous wasp colonies, and in Africa mostly possessed converted or traditional animist regions, French colonial empire was truly a Muslim possession. Okay. This is from an Austrian Catholic. I'm not going to say his ad. I don't feel like it, but yeah. The French Empire was different in another way. Britain had a classic imperial policy administering its vast territories and caring for trade and revenue. France, on the other hand, pursued an assimilation strategy since at least as early as Napoleon. Africa was to be French. The idea was simple. Muslims would adopt the clearly superior principles of the French Revolution, adapt the customs and language of France, and be good, rational citizens that would not only be loyal to the nation, but eventually truly part of it as French citizens. So how would you integrate a different religion? Well, there's no need. The world goes forward, you see, and secularism is the way of the future. Surely the barbarians of West Africa would soon see reason to, and become secular themselves, just like the Christian French. And though there was no particular love for Islam, there was no particular hostility either. Muslims could be French. After all, religious tolerance was also a revolutionary virtue. As long as they respected the state would respect them back. Despite these wonderful ideas, full assimilation was surprisingly never put in place, though it came close. And so the colonial subjects stayed subjects, aside from a select few, and the situation was overall underwhelming for both the French and the Muslims they ruled over. So right after World War II, then when colonialism was on its deathbed already, the French suddenly pushed through with all these citizenship measures, basically rushing to make Algeria French before it broke away. Safe to say it didn't work. As Algeria broke away, that wasn't French, that wasn't already a surprise. The locals had little use for literacy, dress codes, or French citizenship. They were happy to be the barbarians of French thought themselves of. So in 1962, Algeria was independent. Yet some Muslims took up the offer, the Harki, as the most famous example, being able to attain citizenship against the very intention of de Gaulle. Many such cases must have happened before and after as well. Another early wave in the 60s for labor migration. Like I say, that's not my words. This is from this Austrian guy, presumably Austrian, who's also a Catholic. So yeah. You know what? I'll go ahead and screw it. I'll just go ahead and put it in there. I'll go ahead and drop it. This is on Twitter. You can go ahead and read it. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, Skeptical Manus. Oh yeah, I uploaded a lot of footage. Yeah, I watched some of that. Shout out to Skeptical Manus Channel 10 for his interviews and his footage of what's been going on in Philly. Shout out to him. He's got some good stuff that he's been putting out. So definitely follow him. You know, but yeah, I'll go ahead and some good stuff though. Had some good interviews with folks. I'm glad he didn't show anybody's face. You know, because obviously you got to be careful out here. So yeah. That guy Mansour Z uploading the video on a possible Civil War scenario might be interesting to take a look at. No rush. Yeah, I've seen that Mr. Z in some cases. Yeah. 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 Thanks, guys. Feedback. Well, of course. Of course. Yeah, I read the donate. Yeah, there's that. Like I say, but yeah, I'll go ahead and have y'all take a look at that. Like I say, that's from the thread this guy put out. It's okay, but yeah. It's just kind of one of those diddly, you know, those meh, wah, wah sort of things, you know. But yeah. I don't know. You know, we're all gonna have to make our choices. We're all gonna have to decide who's gonna be better for us, you know, and not the president. Screw the president. I'm talking about your but yeah, I mean that's all I can really say. You know, you're gonna have to make your own choices about which warlord is gonna do better for you and who's gonna be a little bit more understanding compared to the other one. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. That's how I feel anyway. Oh. Like I say, at this point, who cares about voting? I would just tell you that, you know, just what else can I really say? Just learn to play the game as it is. Yeah, it's just wild to think about, bro. It is. What choices have to be made. Yep. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. Well, I will give my I will give my props to my audience as I always try to do. Will DeMarco, Skeptical Manus, Channel 10, Ren Dindonian, Manny, Will DeMarco, Union Army Ball, No More Lives Please 1975, Benedict, Bukaran Singh. Sorry for the dead air. I apologize. Raw Dog, who was in here earlier. I think he's still in here, but he may have left. People got things to do. That is all right. Timothy as well. Adam and Kazan, he's been putting out some good content recently. Shout him out. Punjabify, kind of the standard crew here. The standard crew. No offense there. I'm just saying the standard crew, folks. Yeah, let's see. I think that's about it though. Okay. Oh yeah, Mongoose Man. That's who I thought. Yeah, Mongoose Man as well. Yeah, asking because if Trump loses, I'm blaming. Yeah, who in the chat is leaving? If Trump loses, I'm blaming you for it. You know what? Yeah. See you later. See you later, Skeptical Manus. Be careful out there. Be careful out there in Philly, man. Be careful, bro. Man. Yep. I'm blaming you for it. No. Please don't do that. Yeah. But I think we'll keep it there. Let's go ahead and put an ending on this, baby. Let me see here. What closing video should I do? Let's see here. I'll go ahead and do this outro. Let's go ahead and do the DPRK outro. Why not? We'll go ahead and say, a salute to the DPRK. Manze, Manze. Okay, let's do that. See you later. I hope you'll have a good rest of the day or good night, wherever you may be in the world. And see you later. Goodbye.
Fought single-handed against a desperate imperialist. Even in the face of food difficulty, the Korean people valued billets more than sweets. In the unprecedented hardships and trials, a complete whole is formed more firmly between the supreme commander and soldiers, between the army and people. This is precisely the strength of Juche Korea, the might of Sungan politics.